Vivian, and today I want to talk with you about 5 must-try dishes when you first come to Hanoi. So please just pay attention with the foods, but not with my background, okay? Thank you very much. So, as all you know, I am Vietnamese, and especially I was born and raised in Hanoi, the capital city of Vietnam. Hanoi has more than 1,000 years of age. Therefore, along with the historic cultural development is the fascinating cuisine, which makes Hanoi become one of the best Asian food paradise in the world. Hanoi foods is the mix of Vietnamese cuisine, Chinese, French, and a little bit of American influence, which makes the Hanoi foods have its own flavors that nowhere else can have, and it's become one of the best aspects that attracts millions of visitors come to Hanoi every year. So that's why today I will introduce to you 5 must-try dishes that you must have to eat before you're coming to Hanoi. So the first dish for today is pho. Pho is the most well-known dish of Hanoi foods, and it is considered as the symbol of the capital city whenever it's mentioned. This world-famous dish is made with fresh rice noodles with stew bones broth, which is cooked for hours with herbal ingredients, and pho is usually served with beef or sometimes chickens. And this dish requires the cooker have to be very meticulous, and it takes hours and hours to cook. So just try pho and you will be amazed by its delicious taste. This dish can be used at any time of the day, and you can find it on every street of Hanoi because it is an indispensable food for the Hanoians. My recommendations for pho is you can eat it at Pho Tin with the address at 161 Dinh Tiên Hoàng Street, Hanoi. This restaurant with its recipe has been handed down from generation to generation, and is one of the most well-known restaurants of pho in Hanoi. You can also find pho on every corner and every street of Hanoi, just passing by or walking on the street. The coming up next dish is the second famous dish of Hanoi is bún chả. Bún chả is one of the most popular dishes for Hanoians. It is a simple combination of fresh rice vermicelli, eaten with marinated roasted pork and dipping sauce. The dipping sauce is the one that decides the fate of the dish. Dipping sauce is the mix between fish sauce, balsamic, and sugar. A good sauce of bún chả is always the perfect combinations of sour, sweet, and salty flavors. You can also order nem rán, which is fried spring rolls to eat with bún chả besides of the pork. The same as pho, you can find bún chả on every street of Hanoi and on every corners, but bún chả is mostly used for breakfast or lunch. My recommendations for the place to eat bún chả is some shops on Hàng Quạt Street, or you can try it on Levan Hill Street, which is a restaurant that the President Barack Obama was passed by and eaten bún chả when he first came to Vietnam. So just try it once and you can figure it out how good it is, and that's why I recommend it to you. dish that I want to introduce today is chả cá lã vọng. This dish is an one-of-a-kind food that has been appeared for more than a century in Hanoi. The Hanoians consider it to be so exceptional that there is even a street named after this dish. It's called Chả Cá Street. And it is also the street where you can find best restaurant in the city to eat chả cá lã vọng. Chả cá lã vọng is the crispy turmeric marinated fish that's fried tableside with herbals and sometimes is some Vietnamese specific greens, peanuts, and dipped in shrimp paste. If you are not used to eating shrimp paste because of its smell, you can order the fish sauce instead. The best time to fully enjoy this dish is in the winter, where you can sit with your families and slowly enjoying the dish in the cold weather with the heat come from the fried pans and the coziness of the small old restaurant in Hanoi. My recommendations for this dish that you can eat this dish in a restaurant called Chả Cá Lã Vọng. Its address is 14 Chả Cá Street, Hanoi. This is also one of the oldest restaurants that's selling this dish in Hanoi. Just try it and you can feel how it's a real Hanoian to be. The next dish I want to introduce to you is bánh cuốn. It's a middle-class savory dish that if you want to feel the real taste of Hanoi, this is a must-try. If the French has the famous crepe that made with wheat, egg, and dairy products, the Hanoians are proud of their special crepe that's made from rice flour and water. Unlike French crepe, bánh cuốn is a thin layer of rice paper stuffed with pork, wood ear, mushroom, and seasoning. Bánh cuốn is always served with fish sauce dipping, Vietnamese ham, which also called in Vietnamese chả lụa, and fried onions on top of the dish. People usually use it on the mornings as breakfast, but it's also a perfect choice for a midnight snack. This plain dish has been indispensable in the life of Hanoi people since its first appearance. Oh, my recommendations for bánh cuốn is that you can eat bánh cuốn at 14 Hanga Street, which is a very old restaurant in the old quarter of Hanoi. Enjoy it! The last one I want to represent to you is called cà phê trứng. It's a symbolic food of Hanoi and is also a special drink that you must try when you first came to Hanoi. And you will be surprised by the strange combination of it between coffee and egg. However, I believe that after the first try, you will love it right away. Vietnamese egg coffee, or in Vietnam we call cà phê trứng, is a Hanoi specialty in which a creamy, soft meringue-like egg white foam is perched on the dense Vietnamese coffee. There are hot and cold versions. The former is served as a yellow concoction in a small glass. It's consumed a spoon and tastes almost like a coffee-flavored ice cream, more like a dessert than coffee. And the hot version of this coffee comes resting in a small dish of hot water to maintain its temperature. The strong coffee taste at the bottom of the cup seeps through the egg. The layer yellow on top is quite thick and sweet, though not sickly. Combination of the creamy eggs, the sweetness, and a touch of bitterness from the coffee will overwhelm you. my recommendations for a place where you can have the best at coffee in Hanoi is Zhang Coffee on Nguyễn Hữu Huân Street. That is also the inventors of this one-of-a-kind drink that's bewitched every Hanoian. So, this is one of the must-try dish when you first come to Hanoi. Remember it. 5 dishes that I mentioned above are the most popular with Hanoi visitors, even they are foreigners or Vietnamese. However, Hanoi cuisine is not only that. There are so much more delicious foods you can find on the streets of Hanoi. Just try as much as you can, and it will amaze you with the flavors and the freshness of the food. Welcome to Hanoi.